said, I think we are now ready for the president of Brothers with a Cause, Brandon Meyer and Junior Garcia. Oh, Brandon was in St. Thomas. Kind of tall, bro. You know what I'm saying? Fresh to death. Good morning. No, y'all ain't doing this thing right. I said good morning. Oh, we're going to try this one more time because today is man up. So we're going to do this a little bit better. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Yeah, now we in the house. All right, all right. How you doing? My name is Junior Garcia. I'm the president of Brothers with a Cause. Anybody know what Brothers with a Cause is? Okay. I'm going to give you a quick introduction. Brothers with a Cause is basically the brothers on campus that have a cause that all come together to make cool things happen. Things like Man Up, things like Hell Week, awesome little things that we do that help makes the men bond together, have fun, spiritually, mentally, physically. We hang out, and we look cool, and we do cool stuff. Sounds cool? I said cool like 15 times, right? Sounds cool? No? No, not really? All right, listen up. I'm going to say something and you say it back. Y'all ready? I'm going to say something and you say it back. You ready? You ready? You ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Man up. Man up. Man up. Man up. Man up. Oh, yeah, we live now. All right, so listen up, listen up. Give yourself a round of applause. And we're going to come back to that in just a little bit. But right now, what I want you to do is take in mind, take into consideration everybody that's out here right now. The gentlemen that you have out here right now are your everyday heroes. These are your role models. These are your mentors. Some of the people that you have out here that's helping you right now were some of the same people that helped me. And I was just sitting in your seat just the other day. I want you to take care of them. They're going to take care of you. They're going to lead you on the right path. They're going to be there for you. All right? After today, you're going to be looking for these people. These people will be looking for you. Today is the day that you could make a difference in what you do, in who you are. And it doesn't matter where you're from or what you've done before. Right now, this opportunity, right now, you could change this. You could be whatever you want to be from today. From this moment right on now. But it's going to take those people that's around you that brought you here, the monitors, the school, everything else, all these people around you, they're going to help you. Brothers with a Cause is another program that's going to help you. We're basically made here, all right, by President Dr. David Hall, put us together to basically be able to help the males on our community on UVI campus and also you young males out here. But it's going to take for you to say, I'm going to make a difference today. So we're going to try this again. And this time, men, we're going to speak from the chest right here. We're going to do this right. So whatever I say, you're going to say it back. You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? Man up. Man up. Man up. Man up. Man up. Yeah, we live now. Give yourself a round of applause. All right, listen to everything that's being said to you. This is for real, for real. This is serious. We have a whole village that came together just to make sure that you're good. Everybody around you basically took stock into your future. Everybody around here stopped for one moment. One moment, everybody around here stopped just for you, just to make sure that you're going on the right path. And it's worth it. So everybody listen up. Have a great day. Welcome to the Man Up Conference. All right? Have a good day, y'all. I like that. Thank you, my brother. Now we are going to have some spiritual reflection with Chasen Richards of the Educational Complex.
The great writer Maya Angelou created a poem that spoke of phenomenal women. But today we are reminded of the phenomenal nature of man. As such, we take pride in responsibility, honesty, and the strength of character. These are the core tenets of the definition of man. And of course, we are here to man up. The men who will speak today have been closer to the mountaintop than we can imagine, and are here to drive us to climb to even higher peaks than they can dream of. They have all faced trials, yes, and have also attained undeniable successes. Listen to them, take their words to heart, keep their intentions in mind, and feel their inspiration in soul. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to recognize some members of the University of the Virgin Islands Board of Trustees. Thank you as well for being a part of today's event. All right, before we go any further, I need to check and see where my peoples are at. And in St. Thomas yesterday, I came out in a light blue shirt. All right, a light blue long sleeve shirt, which is Charlotte Amalie High School. Now in St. Thomas, Charlotte Amalie is like the high school. Matter of fact, they just call it high school. They don't call it Charlotte Amalie High School. They call it high school because they're so good. Right? So they felt like it was clandestine that I was going to come in this blue shirt. And I said, did anybody like my blue shirt? And of course, the Charlotte Amalie High School students gave a lukewarm response, and they were like, yeah, cool, all right. And then I wasn't wearing a pink shirt. I was wearing a blue shirt, and I asked Eudora Ken, I say, is anybody from Eudora Ken in the house? And Eudora Ken went crazy. I mean, they went bonkers, right? So I go back. And midway through the show, I asked them just before I changed my shirt, I asked Charlotte Amalie students again, does anybody like my blue shirt? I got the same response. Do you know I went in the back and I came out in a fly, fresh to death pink shirt. And I said, does anybody feel my pink shirt? Do you know some of them cats from Charlotte Amalie had the nerve to boo? Now, when they had the opportunity to cheer for their school and represent their colors, they wasn't doing it. Nothing is given to you. A lot of planning and a ton load of logistics is what makes Brothers with a Cause go. And Brothers with a Cause was the vision of the president of the University of the Virgin Islands. In the last 10 years, UVI has come so far and still has a far way to go. So as much as you cheered for your respective schools, I need you to cheer for the man that made it happen, Dr. David Hall. Louder than that. Louder than that. Louder than that.
Good morning. Good morning. On behalf of our trustees, our faculty, our staff, our students, our alumni of the University of the Virgin Islands, we are so delighted that all of you decided to come and spend some time with us. We have created this wonderful forum and opportunity because we believe in you. And we believe that there are great things in your life, great things that are in store for you, and we don't want you to miss those great things or not realize them. And so it is an honor for me as president of this university to welcome you here and to convene this conference. But we could not do this by ourselves. It really takes an enormous collaboration between us and the Department of Education, number one. And I know Superintendent Malloy was here earlier. I don't know if he is still here. Want to thank him and the Commissioner for working with us as close partners in making this happen. We also partner with the Department of Human Services, and Pastor Zamore, who is representing them, is here today as well, and we are so thankful for their partnership. There are foundations like the Pryor Foundation. There's a College Access Grant. All of those individuals and organizations really working with the university, make this day possible, and we are so thankful to them. We are thankful for the legislators who are present and for other government officials who are present, because they stand with us as well. And I am especially thankful to all of the staff members and faculty at the university who give so much of their time to make this happen. I will be very brief. When I look upon this crowd, I see our future. I see so much talent and potential that exists in this room. And I know that it is easy for that talent or potential to not be realized, and we want it to be realized. I see the future leaders, the future students, professors, the future presidents of this university. I see those who will, in their own lifetime, change the way this Virgin Islands exist and will change the way this world exists. But we want you to discover your gifts and talents by putting in front of you today individuals who did that in their own lives. One of the messages that will become clear is that the speakers that we put in front of you were not perfect people when they were your age. They struggled in school, they struggled with behavioral issues, and yet they were able to overcome it, and yet they were able to not only succeed, but they were able to make history. So you are the new history makers, and we want you to make history as well in whatever path you choose. I have said over and over to individuals who are involved in this process, who are helping us raise the money for this process, that there is a war going on for your minds, for your hearts, for your souls. There are forces in this community that would love to drag you into gangs, into drugs, into violence, or even into just a so-so life. And your teachers, your parents, and those of us involved in this process are saying we will not allow those forces to take you. We will not allow your gifts and talents to be unrealized. You are precious to us, but you have to understand and believe that you are precious to yourselves. Embrace that today. As hard as it may be to focus and pay attention, I really encourage you to do that. Whatever the person next to you wants to say is probably not as important as what the people standing up here will say to you. Focus there, and if you do, your lives will be changed, and you will change not only the Virgin Islands, but you will change this world. Thank you for coming. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And of course, I appreciate Man Up. Are you ready to man up? Are you ready to man up? All right, that means we are going to behave as men do. We are going to be respectful. And we are going to have one heck of a day. The kind of day that you're going to remember forever. It's not about the school you're at and how you got into certain circumstances. It's about where you are going. It's not about who you were yesterday, but who you're going to be tomorrow. It's all about progress. And we are about to progress with this rally. And in doing so, we are going to start things off with a brother from Raleigh, North Carolina. He's an up-and-coming rap artist. He's a brother with a story, and it's something that you need to listen to. Please welcome to the stage, King Mez. Clap. Good, sir.
How's everybody doing this morning? You gotta be louder than that. How's everybody doing this morning? Gotta thank God to be awake, man. You know, I'm here today because I'm a dreamer. You know, I don't know how many dreamers we got in the house. I know you guys are young, but I'm only 22 years old. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be in my senior year of college right now, and I chose to be a dreamer. You know what I mean? And I'm an advocate for education. If that's a part of your dream, I think it's very essential that you do so. But do me a favor and stand up if you have a dream. If you have a dream and you mean it and you know you want it, I appreciate him. He stood up first. I seen him. If it's something that you want, and it's something that you can't help, it's something you think about every night before you go to sleep, I think it's very essential that you do that. Can I get everybody quiet down a little bit? Now, as far as being a dreamer goes, I think you gotta stay focused. Raise your hand if you feel like you gotta stay focused under any obstacle. That's what I had to do. When I was 20 years old, my mom passed away. And when she passed away, she was a single parent. It was just me and my younger brother. I had to look after my younger brother on my own. You know, when she passed, I had to stop going to college. And, you know, I had to move back home. And I had to, you know, just fend for me and my brother. I had to work and make sure things went in a very particular fashion, you know. So he upheld a lifestyle. And with that being said, my brother upholding that lifestyle, I chose music. You know, I was like, I'm great at music. I want to make sure I do music. I want to make sure I do something that I love for the rest of my life. And with that being said, since then, I've been on 106 in Park. Well, anybody watch BET? 106 in Park? I've been on 106 in Park. I've been on MTV. I've been in XXL. You listen to J. Cole, Wale, Jay-Z. I met all these people only because I thank God for the opportunity to keep me determined, you know, and keep me focused. And I've done all of it without glorifying drugs, sex, violence, anything like that in my music. Just because I feel like you don't have to, you know. Do whatever makes your heart move and you stay focused. Can you cue the music, please? I appreciate it. I need everybody to do a clap. I got to get everybody excited before MK Asante gets on. Clap like this. All the ladies gonna be fine and dancing, but I'ma get to it in a timely fashion. Like, to the labels trying to sign me fastest, cause they can tell that I'm gonna be lasting. Yo, though I want it with a timely passion, I know I'ma get there. Yeah. See, I see the game like a party. Cosigns have the same effects as Bacardi. Take it to your head, you may never leave your bed, cause you drunk off coulda beens and Harleys. Yeah, see, I've been on the handlebars like a Harley. Even after feeding me compliments, I be starving. When I get to it, I may never leave the game. Establish longevity, I be farving. Number 4, and I be teaching rookies anything they wanna know. OGs did the same for me, so I wanna show that same love and show strength like Zangief in the game. But it'll all come in time, won't be rushing, no. They might have said I wouldn't make it, they be hushing, no. A lot of people told me they haven't seen such a glow of work as Mary since the now legendary with their teammates. And I won't be getting comfy, so through the glasses the wine be flashing, and all the food coming tiny rashes, keep clapping. Be fine and dancing, but I'm getting to it in a timely fashion. Like, trying to sign me fastest, cause they can tell that I'm gonna be lasting. Yo, want it with a timely passion, I know I'ma get. It's like everybody calling my phone like, yo, you need to hurry up cause this girl's in mad liquor. But to be really honest, that ain't really the reason I'm going. I would rather feed my fam with my figures and use words to breed some rad scholars. Teach generations over cupping mad dollars. Gucci, Louis, and keep my lady in mad Prada. I would really rather just drop gems like man collar. But they saying that ain't the rapper thing to do though. Get gold front, show teeth like Cujo, and be flashy, you know, so they know it's numbers in your hand like Uno. I mean, that's cool, I appreciate your offer, but if I do decide to get jewelry, it be armor. Cause if you gon' flout, just be ready for the scope, but be brushed from the teeth of Lady Karma. Hands up, hands up. The wine be flashing, all the food coming tiny rations. Plus, all the ladies gonna be fine and dancing, but I'ma get to it in a timely fashion. It was trying to sign me fastest, cause they could tell that I'm gonna be lasting. Yo, though I want it with a timely passion, I know I'ma get there in a timely fashion. I appreciate you guys' time, man. Thank you. My name's King Man.
Definitely, my good peoples. Give it up for King Mez one more time. Sometimes in life it's real good to be witness to something before it becomes a big phenomenon. So y'all remember that you just saw King Mez for the first time, okay? All right. Now here's what I'm gonna do, right? This was intentional. Yes, but he is one of the most dynamic people you will ever see speak in your life. And with that being said, is there anybody here from alternative education? Where they at? Where they at? See, that's what I'm saying. Believe it or not, nobody in here is judging nothing, because y'all could be the greatest people to leave here this afternoon. And I believe that. I just need you to believe it. Man, I know the smartest people in my classes that I went to, and they ain't doing nothing with their life right now. Stay focused, my peoples. And what you're about to witness right now, this brother is a legend. He's going to come up here and you're not going to believe that he is as accomplished as he is, because he looks like he could walk into your high school class and graduate in June. He goes by the name of M.K. Asante. He's a best-selling author, an award-winning filmmaker who CNN calls master storyteller and major creative force. And I'm not talking about the Crucial News Network. This brother is the author of 3 celebrated books. Asante is the recipient of the Langston Hughes Award. Asante's fourth book, Buck, a coming-of-age memoir about his youth in Philadelphia, will be published by Random House in February 2013. He's an acclaimed filmmaker. Asante directed The Black Candle, a Stars film he co-wrote with renowned poet Maya Angelou. Anybody knows who Maya Angelou is? If you don't, go to Google. This is one of the greatest writers of our time. He also narrates the prize-winning film. He wrote and produced the film 500 Years Later. A winner of numerous international awards, Asante studied at the University of London, earned a BA from Lafayette College and an MFA from the UCLA School of Film and Television, arguably the best film and television school that there is. Asante has lectured in more than 25 countries as well as throughout the United States, and now he could add the beautiful U.S. Virgin Islands to that list. He was awarded the key to the city of Dallas, Texas, the whole key to the city. Asante has been featured on numerous TV and radio programs, including the CBS Early Show, CNN, NBC News, BBC News, and NPR. Asante's essays on music, politics, and culture have been published in USA Today, Huffington Post, and the San Francisco Chronicle. Asante is a tenured professor of creative writing and film at Morgan State University. Please welcome M.K. Asante.
Thank you, my brother. Yes, sir. How y'all doing? Good morning. How y'all doing? Man up! Man up! Man up! All right, that's what I like to hear. Before I get started, I want to thank you all for being here. When I look in your faces, I see my face. So I want to thank you all for coming. Thanks St. Croix. I want to thank Dr. Hall, University of Virgin Islands, Dr. Davies. I want to thank, did y'all like King Mez? Yes. I'm telling you, King Mez, you got to go download his music. He's an amazing artist. And so I'm thrilled to be here. I want to start by just giving you my mantra. I want to just start out telling you my mantra in life, my mantra in art, and all the movies that I make, and the writings, the books that I write. I have a mantra, and I live my life by this mantra. You ready for it? All right, the mantra is, what is a mantra? It's like a slogan that you live by, words that you live by. And so my mantra is, if I make an observation, I have an obligation. If I make an observation, I have an obligation. I want you guys to say it with me. If I make an observation, if I make an observation,
Come on, y'all gotta do better. I need more. I need to hear louder. You know how you were getting loud with when you were yelling the schools out? I need that kind of energy. If I make an observation, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's the word. Those are the words I live by. What does that mean? That means when you see something, right? When you observe something, it's not enough to just observe it and recognize that there's a problem or something. You have to become a part of the solution. Right? And everything. So sometimes you might see something and wonder, well, why is there no this? Or how come this doesn't exist? The answer is simple. It's because you didn't create it yet. And so when you make those observations, you have an obligation to fill that void, whatever it is. Now, as an artist, I remember the first time I transformed an observation into an obligation. I was actually in school. I was around your age. I was maybe in high school. You got any high schoolers in here? Okay, cool. I was in high school, and the education that I was getting, I grew up in Philadelphia, and I'll tell you about how I grew up in a little bit. But I was in this school in Philadelphia, and the education I was getting didn't match who I was as a person, as an African American, you know, as a young black man. The things that they were teaching me didn't resonate. They didn't teach me about my history and my culture, so I didn't know who I was. And when I started learning about who I was, I felt some type of way about that. That's what we say in Philly. I felt some type of way about that, right? I was upset, and so I wrote a poem called 2 Sets of Notes. And this was the first time I can remember consciously transforming an observation into an obligation. The obligation was the poem. So I'm going to read 2 sets of notes for you, and it goes something like this. I find myself feeling as if I'm touching the ground and the ceiling. In schools that don't engage in healing, they simply open the wounds and entrap me in rooms where I am consumed by hypocrisy. But yo, even Greek philosophers weren't the authors of their own philosophies. And the statues at school be watching me. Washington, Jefferson, Williams clocking me as if to say, your time's up. But I don't run laps on track, see? I run laps around the scholars of tomorrow because their new schools of thought are merely our histories borrowed. And they label me militant and black national radical, trying to put my learning process on sabbatical. But I don't apologize. I spit truth into those eyes that have been infected by those lies. Then they try to get me to see their point of view from a cat that looked like me. But he don't walk like me, talk like me, or act like me. And homie started running when I asked if he was black like me, mastering their thoughts and forgetting our own. And you wonder why we always feel alone. From the media to academia, hanging brothers like coats. That's why in they schools, I always take 2 sets of notes. 1 set to 2 sets of notes. 1 set to ace the test, and the other set I call the truth. And when I find historical contradictions, I use that first set as proof. Proof that black youth's minds are being polluted and convoluted and diluted and not culturally rooted in anything except the Western massacre. That's why most of us in school, we were scared of Africa. We viewed our mother's land through the eyes of racists like David Hume and Immanuel Kant. Well, Immanuel Kant tell me jack about a land he's never seen, a land rich with history, beautiful kings and queens. But they had us believe otherwise. The history they taught was built on high-rise lies. They didn't teach me that the pyramids were completed before Greece and Rome were conceptualized. Then they tried to claim that the Egyptians' race was a mystery, and I believed them until I went to Egypt and read Herodotus' book 2 of the histories. Can it be any clearer? Black students, look in the mirror. You are a reflection of divinity. Don't let them fool you with selective memory. Walk high. Listen to the elders that spoke. Black students, always take 2 sets of notes. Feel me? Right. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. That's what's up. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So I started writing at a young age. I found my passion when I was young. And it took me a while. You know, every time you see someone who's successful, you know that there's been a journey to get to where they got, you know? So you see me now, but when I was your age, as Dr. Hall referred to, as the host Rashidi referred to, when I was your age, I never knew I would be here. I never knew that life would take me on this journey. My brother was incarcerated. He was in solitary confinement. My mom was in a mental institution. My sister was in a mental institution. My father left. I was alone in Philadelphia, North Philadelphia, in my teenage years. And, you know, adversity at every step. But one of the things that I think saved me was finding that passion, finding that purpose, something that I cared about, something that I wanted to do. And that's what you guys have to find. That's what everyone has to find. And it's not it's about what you love doing. It's about serving others. For me, I had been kicked out of every school in Philly. Been kicked out of 3 schools. I was not in school. My mom was disappointed in me. My dad was disappointed in me. Family members were disappointed in me. My mom got sick one day, and I went to visit her in the hospital. She had overdosed. She tried to commit suicide. And when I got to the hospital, she asked me, she said, you know, will you go to school? You know, she says, you know, you and your brother, you're killing me. You know, will you go to school? And I said, yeah, you know, if I would go to a school, if I could get into a school, because at that point, I couldn't even get in. No school would take me. And she said, well, what about if I found a school that would take you? Would you go? And I said, well, yeah, you know, I would. And so she found a school, an alternative school. This is like last-ditch school, you know, after you've been kicked out of everywhere. This is the last place you go, basically, before jail. And so I get to this school, and it's an alternative school. It's called Crefeld. It's in Philadelphia. And changed my life. You know, I'll tell you the story that actually what happened. I was in class, and, you know, a lot for me, you know, school at that point, I was going to schools that had metal detectors and cops in the hallways, and people were getting arrested all the time in school, and it wasn't a very learning, it wasn't an environment conducive to learning. And so school to me was always, it wasn't about education. It was about order and discipline, and I didn't understand that. But when I got to Crefeld, this alternative school, things changed. I took this class, and the teacher, in the beginning of class, put blank pieces of paper in front of all of us. And then she told us to write. Now, I hadn't done schoolwork for a long time at this point, so I wasn't doing the assignment. You know, I was just chilling. And then she came over to me, and she said, you know, I want you to write. I said, well, what you want me to write? You know, I was kind of frustrated. I had an attitude problem. What you want me to write, yo? She's like, you know what I mean? I smirked. I had my face all scrunched up. What you want me to write, yo? She's like, write anything you want. Anything I want. This was a new concept to me. School had always been about just following orders. So when she told me I could write anything I want, I'm looking at this blank page, and I'm seeing other kids writing their stories and writing ideas down and writing about their life. And then I'm thinking about my life and everything I've been through and everything I have to say and all these ideas that I have to get out. It really empowered me. That moment changed my life. And then I began to see myself in that blank page. And that's what I see when I look at all of you. We are all blank pages. Every day you wake up, you're a blank page. You can write whatever you want. You write your own script in life. And that's what I learned, that I am this blank page. I'm not only going to write on this blank page whatever I want, I'm going to use this blank page as a metaphor for my life. And I'm going to write what I want with my life and write my own script. Because you don't want to follow somebody else's script. You know? This is your life. So you're not reading somebody else's script. You're writing your own script. And that's important. I want to tell you another story. I've been around the world. I've been to over 30 countries now. And I've been at universities, at big venues, concerts, all types of venues. One of the most powerful experiences I've ever had took place in a prison. It's a prison outside of Philadelphia. In fact, it was the same prison that my brother was incarcerated in. When I went to the prison, I was doing a writing workshop. So they brought me to the prison. This was years ago. Brought me to the prison to work with the brothers to do creative writing workshops, right? So I get there, And all of the guys, they're my age, right? All the brothers in jail, they're my age. And we're doing this workshop. And one thing I noticed is that, you know, Dr. Hall talked about undiscovered talent and talent that goes unused. I mean, there was so much talent in this prison. In fact, if you go to my neighborhood, where I come from, there was so much talent in my neighborhood. So many brothers with ideas and skills and intelligence and artistry. And now those same guys are dead, they're in jail. Right? So it's so important that you cultivate that talent, or else it just wastes away. So anyway, I'm in this prison and I'm doing a writing workshop, and there's one brother in particular that's amazing as a writer. He just stands out so much to me. He's such an eloquent, powerful voice. His writing is just tremendous, right? And so after the workshop is over, I get a chance to go to the cell block where the prisoners spend the bulk of their days and nights. So I go to his cell, and immediately when I get to his cell, I notice that there's something different about his cell than all the other cells that I just passed. There's something different about this brother's cell. His name is Jordan. What's different about Jordan's cell? I'm looking, I do a double take, I do a triple take. What's it called if you do it 4 times? Yeah, I did that. I did all of that, right? So I'm doing that, and then finally it hits me. Finally, it hits me what's different about Jordan's cell. Jordan does not have a bed in his cell. And I get pissed off because I'm thinking, here's this incredible writer in jail, and they've taken his bed away from him to punish him, to dehumanize him. So I'm pissed. I'm like, you want me to go talk to the warden, whatever? I'm ready to, you know what I mean, take it back to Philly. You know what I'm saying? I'm upset. And he starts laughing at me, right? And he says, nah, man, I got a bed. And he goes underneath his bunk and he shows me that he has a little flimsy mattress. And I'm like, oh, you got a bed? Oh, you got a bed. He's like, I just don't sleep on it. So now I'm like, you know, a little confused. What do you sleep on? He's like, I sleep on the floor. I sleep against the wall. I sleep against the bars, anything, but not on the bed. So I'm like, yo, why he got beef with the bed, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up, you know? Why he got beef with the bed? Exactly, like, what's up? Then he goes, I said, so why don't you sleep on the bed? Why? That's the most important question as an intellectual, as a thinker, right? You want to know why. So why don't you sleep on the bed? And his eyes filled with disquiet and intensity. He moved closer to me, very close to me. He looked me dead in the eyes, and he said, MK, I don't sleep on that bed because I can't trust comfort in a place like this. He said, comfort in a place like this numbs you to the reality of where you really are and why. So for this brother Jordan, sleeping on the floor against the bars, all of these things reminded him in that raspy voice of reality where he really was and why. And it kept his mind stayed on freedom. And I started thinking, I thought about that for weeks afterwards and days afterwards. I was just thinking about, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And I came up with a lot of things. You know, for one, it taught me that you can never be too comfortable. No matter where you are, you always have to keep your mind stayed on where you want to go, where you want to be. Sometimes we get comfortable. Dr. Hall talked about a so-so life or mediocrity. We get comfortable in our environments, but it made me think, nah, you can never be too comfortable. Always keep striving. Always keep your mind focused on moving out of your condition, improving your life, improving your craft, getting better at what you do. That's important. So that's one of the things I took away from this experience. And then the other thing I took away was this whole notion of observation obligation. Because what do you do once you do remove that mattress and you're not comfortable anymore and you are trying to focus on, well, what do? The mantra is observation obligation. And then I started to study all these transformers, people who've been doing this since the beginning of time. I started studying people like Paul Robeson, the actor. This is one man I'm talking about. He was an actor, the biggest actor in the world at the time. He was a singer, the biggest singer in the world at the time. He sang in 22 languages. He spoke 16 languages. He was a lawyer from Columbia University in America. His parents were slaves. He was born, his parents were slaves, right? This is one man. He was an activist, a poet, a writer. I started studying people like that and what they had to say. Paul Robeson said things like, the purpose of art, and this goes back to King Mez. Paul Robeson's talking about in the 30s and the 40s that the purpose of art isn't simply to show the world as it is, but as it could and should be. So I'm using my art not just to show you what it is. We all know what it is, but this is also what it could and should be. I started studying people like that. I started studying people like Africa Bambaataa, the creator of hip-hop. Y'all like hip-hop? Exactly. Where it comes from somewhere. It comes from a young man in the Bronx, young, like your age young, making an observation. Africa Bambaataa made an observation. His observation was that young black and Latino people in the Bronx, in America, in New York, needed a vehicle that was going to interrupt the cycle of death and destruction that was ravaging the black community, and still is. And so hip-hop was created as a way to channel that energy into music, into lyricism, into visual art, into movement, choreography, dance, all of these things, hip-hop, those elements, right? So I started studying people like that and getting inspired. I started to realize that education wasn't just happening in school. Education can happen in school, but education was happening all around me. Everywhere I go, everyone I talked to was a chance to get educated, even if I wasn't in the classroom. And so I started taking all that very seriously, and that's part of what accelerated my drive. You know, I'd wasted a lot of time in the streets of Philadelphia, so by the time I got focused, I was ready to go. I want to do a Q&A, but before I do a Q&A, I just want to tell you guys a quick story. I was asked yesterday about this generation, right, and where we're going to go. People ask me questions like that sometimes. You know, what about your generation, MK? What are you guys going to do? Are you guys going to continue and carry on the legacy of your ancestors, or are you guys going to whittle it away and not stand on the ancestors' shoulder? And that's a hard question to ask. It makes me think about a story. It's a hard question to answer. It makes me think about a story, though. The story is about this woman in Philadelphia named Miss Sally, right? And Miss Sally is blind, so she can't see. But she does have vision, which is a little bit different, right? And so people come to her, ask her for advice. And so one day, these kids, they're like your age, right? They come to Miss Sally's door. They knock on the door. Miss Sally comes to the door. Hello, kids. And the kids say, you know, Miss Sally, we have a bird in our hand. Is it dead or alive? Now, you know Miss Sally can't see, right? But I told you she got that vision. So Miss Sally tells the children, look, you got that bird in your hand. I don't know if it's dead or alive. There's only one thing I know. And the children said, well, what's that, Miss Sally? It's in your hands. So if you want to crush that bird in your hands, that's on you. If you want to open your hands and let that bird fly to new heights, to places that we haven't seen, that's also on you. So when they asked me yesterday, what's up with your generation? Are they going to carry on the legacy of the greats that went before them? Are they going to take it to the next level? I said, I don't know. There's only one thing I know. You know what that is? It's in our hands. Thank you. I love y'all. So we can do Q&A now. Yo, could you grab me that water that I don't see? All right, so thank you for your attention. At this, God's in the hood, trapped in facades in the hood, always getting even, because what's the odds in the hood? So we mob through the hood, so misunderstood, we overstand. City of applause, clapping like it's Pakistan. From Rosewood to Rosecrans, young boys on their codename, freedom or death, not a slogan. Like the nature of the threat ain't a slow jam. My Elohim's off that wet through them badlands. Black cinematics, so visual. And if it's God's in the ghetto, this the ritual. Children of the night, candlelight, the vigil. Smoke a L with Ellison, now we visible. Something out of nothing, maximize the minimal. Prison and dust turning gods to criminals. Forcing us to revise these spirituals for your mental, reviving our pinnacle.
So, can he rap? Can he rap?
You got it? No, it was the, oh, okay, new drum. So, I'm not a rapper by profession. However, I'm a poet, and I recently did a song. You guys know who Talib Kweli is? I recently did a song with Talib Kweli. It's called God's in the Hood. You guys can go look it up. If you just Google Gods in the Hood, or you go to my website, mkasante.com. If you go to my Twitter at mkasante, or my Facebook, mkasante, you'll see the song. So I'm not a rapper by profession, but I love hip-hop, and you know, I support hip-hop.
All right, got a question over here on your left, Woodson.
Okay. You said your brother was incarcerated. What do you mean that he died in prison?
No, he didn't die in prison, but he's been incarcerated for most of his adult life. He's been incarcerated for most of his adult life. And there's something interesting about that. He's been incarcerated for most of his adult life, but it started when he was your age. And that's how it starts. See, they get young black boys around your age right now. And once you get into that system, it's difficult to get out. The system is designed so that you stay in the system. The system isn't designed so that you go out and do the system is designed to keep you in the system. They make money off you. It's a business, baby. Get with it. Get with it. Open those eyes. So my brother started getting incarcerated at a young age, and the way the system is designed, it's designed to retain and keep that retention. So he just kept going in and in and in. There's always something else. Once you get that record, same thing they do in schools. When I was young, they start writing that paper trail on you, right? Get that paper trail, and it follows you. It goes to different schools. It goes to different places. So you got to be careful. Watch your record. Keep your name clean. That's all you got is your name.
Your extreme left, your 9 o'clock.
I saw in your biography that you're a tenured professor. What does that mean? How long have you been one? And how does one become one?
Okay, great question. So a tenured professor is like you ever see you guys know about, like, you see the Italian mafia movies? Yes. So you know you got the made men? Yes. So it's kind of like being a made man. I mean, in the sense that you can't be fired, you know, you can't be removed from your job. You're there, you're permanent, you know what I mean? And you know, you can't be fired, you can't be removed from your job. It's a rank that you get, you know, usually as a professor, you start out as like an assistant professor or something, you go associate and full professor, and then with that comes tenure, which really just means kind of a permanence, right? An investment from the university. It means you've achieved a certain level of success. So I was the youngest tenured professor at my university ever in the history of the university, and how do you become, you know, in terms of how that works, you know, hard work, determination, having a goal, being intentional about what you want to do, understanding, you know, your mission, your purpose, everything that we kind of been talking about, everything that Man Up embodies. That's how you do it, right? The work ethic, the determination, the focus, the persistence, not letting anybody else tell you what you can or can't do. Because I had people tell me from the beginning, oh, you're not going to be able to do that. Oh, you can't do that. But oh, you can't be a writer and a filmmaker. Oh, you can't be a professor too. Oh, you can't get tenure. You can't do this. But you can't, but you don't listen to any of that. None of that, right? Just use that as fuel. Use that as motivation, right? I had teachers back in the day. When I was in Philly, they told me this young man right here, MK, he will never amount to anything. That's what they said. So you just use that as motivation and fuel. But yeah, that's what that means.
All right, it also means you could take a trip to the Virgin Islands and they can't do nothing about it.
Exactly.
All right, your 3 o'clock, Elena Christian.
I was wondering if you could please repeat the two notes poem again, please.
He had a lot of bass in his voice, and he would like you to do the poem one more time. He wants a pull-up on the poem.
Really, though? I mean, yo, you could get it online. Just YouTube it, man. It's available, man. That takes a lot of energy, dude. Man, if we have time at the end, I'll end with it or something like that. If we have time. But I want to get to some of these questions.
All right.
Yeah.
How'd you get your first movie to be shot?
How did I get my first movie? Well, I was living in London at the time. I went to college, and I was living abroad in London. I spent a year in London studying, and that's when I really got into film. And we were working on a film. Again, we made an observation. The first film I made was a documentary. The observation we made was, how come there's no film that explores the psychocultural effects of slavery and colonialism on the African diaspora and does it in a way that's empowering? How come we don't have a film about us, for us, by us, that gives us a sense of purpose and pride? And so we had the answer. We realized what the answer to that question was. There was no film like that because we hadn't made it yet. So then we made that film. We embarked on that mission. It was called 500 Years Later, and it won many awards and shown all over the world. We went to over 15 countries to make that film, and I was able to travel. And so that was kind of the first film I made, and we got it on TV. And from there, everything just moved up, right? Every time you do a project, you use all that momentum, all that energy, everything you learned, all that education for your next project so that your next project is even bigger and greater. And so that's kind of how we've done it.
2 more questions, educational complex.
How old are you?
How old am I? I'm 30. Nobody believes him.
Yeah. He told you he was the youngest tenured professor. Yo. I come back.
But that was when I was 24, though, when the tenure thing happened.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, Good Hope, straight down the middle.
Why'd your brother go to jail the first time?
Well, the first time, it was stealing a car. It's for stealing a car. That was my brother. And, and actually, he didn't steal the car. What happened, and by the way, I have a new book called Buck. And it comes out actually in August 20th, 2013. And I'm most proud of this book. I'm most proud of this work. To me, this is like my life's work. It's everything, but it's my story. It's a memoir. And it talks about that experience and other experiences, but he didn't even steal the car. And this is important. This is an important message for y'all. A lot of the brothers in jail, it's not even them. It's the people who they were with, the people who they hang around. It's so many people who are dead, who are in jail, whose lives are destroyed, not because they themselves actually went out and did the crime, but because they didn't have the decision-making skills not to be hanging out with these dudes. There's certain people you have to avoid. When they come to your house talking about, yo, man, we got a car. What you mean we got a car? Did you buy a car? We got a car. That's what happened. My brother's friend came to the crib. Yo, Uzi. That's my brother's name, Uzi. Yo, Uzi. Yo, what's up? Yo, we got a car. Yo, who's we? Yo, me, D-Rock, you, if you down the road. Psh, my brother was out the door. That moment when my brother was out the door at 16 years old, that was the end of his life. My brother is 38 now. The end of his life. That moment when he walked, when I saw him go out that door, because from then on, the system, trapped in the system. Every time he gets out, something else, violating probation, violating parole, doing this, can't get a job, can't go to school, can't get financial aid, all of this because of that record. So that's why I'm telling you, keep your name clean.
All right, complex.